Welcome to the Contractors Secret Weapon Radio Podcast, the show dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, and others in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over their competition. Get ready for some inspiration, some encouragement, some proven business building strategies, and a couple of new ideas that can take your business to the next level and beyond. And now, broadcasting from the Contractors Secret Weapon Studio, it's Pete Mitchell and Dave Negri.
Hey, we got some fun things to talk to you about this week that nobody wants to listen to. This is Dave Negri.
That's the best way to start out a podcast. We're going to talk about some things that you really don't want to talk about, and you don't want to hear. And
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Well, and this is Pete Mitchell for Contractor Secret Weapon. So, Dave, you started it. You know, right before the call, I said, "Hey, what are we talking about today?" And you started talking about it. I'm like, "All right, I think that's the appropriate topic. What is it? Let me know."
We could get into it, and this could really be 2 weeks. You know, what is it, and how do we handle it? Let's go back. You know, no one likes to talk about the bad things. No one likes to talk about business coming to a screeching halt or slowing down. And but if anybody's been in business, was in business in 2008, they know the horror stories that they went through. A lot of people went out of business, and some people didn't because they saw the handwriting on the wall, but most people didn't. And you know, everything runs in cycles, and unfortunately, we're coming to the end of that cycle of things really being good. But I know everyone's saying, but they're spending money. They're spending money. Yes, they are. But don't spend more than them.
Right. So basically what you're talking about is what happens when the recession comes.
Right. That R word. Don't say that. That's bad.
Yeah. And the reality is, like, we know from an economic standpoint that it has to happen. Like,
right.
It has to. Like, you can't keep going up and up and up. And that was the problem in the .com era. Everyone was like, no, it's never going to come down. It's never going to go back. And then it was a crash. And then, of course, everything in the early 2000s started taking off again. And that was back in my financial planning days. And I literally remember one of my coworkers saying, I think we're going to see an average of 18% gains over the long haul. You know, the days of it only being 12% is behind us. And then, boom, 2008 happened. I was totally unprepared. I didn't know marketing then. I didn't understand marketing. I was just like, this is never going to end. In fact, you know, as I tell my story, Dave, I remember telling people, you know, I went from making $250,000 a year to making $250,000 less, right? Like, it was overnight.
Yeah, I hear you. I know. And, I know.
And so, yeah, I mean, I look at you and I both work in the real estate realm, either with referral partners, parts of our business, things like that. You've got the title company. And so we're really in tune with it on the real estate side. And I just keep looking at stuff going, okay, it's going to happen. And we're starting to see the signs of it coming. And I don't care what Trump says and, the Fed's got to stop it and blah, 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 all this other jazz.
How do you stop an avalanche?
You don't, but you make people
get out
feel
of the
good.
way.
Yeah, you make them feel good by saying crap, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it has to happen. And I think it's a great topic for us to address.
And it's not to scare anybody. It's just to be aware of what's going on. Because I remember in 2008, all right, in 2005, 6, 7, I had basically stopped painting and started buying and selling houses. And in 2007, I was a millionaire. And in 2008, I was not.
You were less.
I lost everything but 2 houses I think we had a dozen houses, lost everything, but two houses. The one I lived in, because in Florida, we had enough money to pay our mortgage, which was really a blessing. And I had another house that I had paid cash for, so I couldn't lose that.
Right.
It was an investment property. But really, I mean, the lessons that I learned from that, one was don't get greedy, and don't follow everybody else. But as I look back now, I mean, I am prepared, way prepared now because of the lessons that I learned before. But I also know, like with the title business, okay, I know, listening to reports and stuff that's coming out, that real estate was down 9% last couple months, and that's huge.
Yeah,
in sales, that's
is
really huge. But in the area we live in, it's not down because we have more demand than supply. So the prices keep going up, and people are buying and they're doing multiple bids. But the only thing about this right now that is good about it is back in 2005, 6, and 7, you didn't have to qualify for mortgage. Now you have to qualify for. So these people that are building, prices in, they're adding onto the price. They're paying cash for that extra. It's not going into the mortgage. So they have the money. So that's one of the good things. But I hear a lot of things like I listened to a financial report, and they were saying that this year is the first time in many, 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 many years that the central banks are buying gold.
Well, it's funny because I actually watch gold almost daily.
Yeah, so do I.
And part of that is because I keep emergency funds in gold for very specific reasons that I have.
Right.
And it's been fun to watch my emergency fund go up.
I know. Same
like,
thing
all right,
here.
All right, cool.
I know.
But at the same time, I'm like, I know when it goes up, it's because people who know are retreating to gold. And
yes,
they're planning on the crash coming, and so they're putting it over into gold. And I'm like, seeing the massive increase that gold has had over the last few months, I'm like, it's coming.
And the last report I heard on gold, it's the beginning of a 30-year bull market, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, no kidding.
But
interesting.
Yeah, so with that in hand, the central banks are buying gold, and believe this or not, this is kind of crazy, and I would never do it, but the bonds are like cash, and so bond traders, the people are buying bonds like crazy with 1% and 0% yields. And you're going, and the commentators are saying, I wonder if they know something we don't.
Yeah.
They're doing this to get, so that if they need cash, they can sell it fast, and people will buy, even at a zero return. To me, it's incomprehensible, but, So I was thinking, okay, so if you're in business and you know that there's a recession coming, things are going to slow down, and normally, naturally right now, we're going to be heading into winter, so a lot of people that are in the colder part of the United States are going to slow down anyways. But how do you keep from the recession or a slowdown from destroying your business?
Right.
And there's a couple of things. It's like, if you're busy now, don't hire too many people.
Right.
Just if like we're doing, and we're like we've grown 25% in the last 4 months in the title business.
Really?
So we're hiring people now to catch up, and we'll keep hiring people to catch up, but not to go beyond the catch up.
Right.
Because we honestly want to keep them. We don't want to just hire people to grow our business. We want to grow our people with the business.
Right. Yeah.
So, don't buy things on extended credit. If you can pay cash for something, do it. Because, if you're going to need something and this recession coming, then save your cash, set it aside, and start buying stuff at the pawn shop. Because guys are going to go out of business and they're going to sell their stuff cheap just to pay their bills.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's not really, it's not taking advantage of anybody, because everyone puts themselves in those own positions where they try to buy more than they need and pray and hope that their business will catch up to what they bought into. And that's really not a smart way to do it.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think, a couple of other things too is, and by the way, just a quick comment on something you said earlier, do people, know things that we don't know? If they're putting money into bonds and they're getting 0%, and I think it was, I can't remember what country it was, but someone is actually offering mortgage loans at a -%. Did you see that article?
No, I didn't see that, but they are offering bonds at -%. Matter of fact, I think it was Venezuela. I don't know if it's a -%, but they're offering 100-year bonds, which is just ludicrous.
Right. Right. And, but it goes back to, the crash days of 2008. I'm a financial planner at the time, and I can't remember exactly who it was, but I want to say it was Bear Stearns. So when Bear Stearns went under, they agreed, okay, we're going to pay $2 a share because it was being bought out, and it's trading at $4. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, they know it's being bought out at $2. Why is it trading at $4 to $4.50? And then they went back, renegotiated, and got $10 a share. And I was like, okay, so people obviously knew, and because there's no way it should be trading at higher than what it's been agreed to be bought out for, because that means you're going to buy it for $4, but you're going to get $2 when they turn around and finish the deal. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And so my point is that when you see stuff like this, when you see them going, hey, we're going to put money over into bonds, even though it's paying nothing or so little, it would be ridiculous. They know something. Yeah. And that's why they're doing it. And you gotta prepare for it. So I think some of the things that you hit on are great ideas and examples, but then there are other things that they can do for their business to help them during this time. Because, here's the reality, and you and I both know this. During these economic downtimes, there is still growth for people, meaning there's still people who want to have their house painted because they're not affected by a recession. There's still people who want to do an addition because they're not affected by, that. Like I think about, I've got these close family friends where I was talking with them yesterday, and the wife is an anesthesiologist. And so I'm talking to the husband, and I'm like, yeah, she's probably able to get a job anywhere. And he's like, oh, yeah, she can literally go anywhere and get a job because she's an anesthesiologist. He goes, the problem is you start out at the bottom again, and, you're only making $450 a year. And I'm like, yeah, you're only making $450 a year. It's like,
oh, shucks.
Yeah, right. Oh, I got to start at I got to work nights. I got to work nights. I got the swing shift. It's like, So there are
I'll start over again at $450.
Right. But so there are people who are not going to be affected, and that's why it's so important that during the good times you set up those relationships. Like you and I talked about doing the monthly newsletter and how that's an integral part of your business. It's an integral part of my business.
That's integral on something like this because you want to be in front of them.
Yeah, you stay in front of them.
Especially during these times,
Yep. And then also really growing your joint venture partners and really working on that side of the business, the referral side of the business. So, you and I both have learned so much from Dan Kennedy. And one of the things that he always said for years that I completely agree with is 1 is the worst number in business. If you've got one way of getting leads, you have a very at-risk business. If you do, Facebook only, like that's the only way you get business, your business is at risk. Facebook shuts you off, which I doubt any of our listeners are, Facebook only, if they even use Facebook. And I've seen Facebook literally close down accounts. Like they were spending millions of dollars and then all of a sudden it's closed and you can't get it back. Google, same thing. If all your business comes from Google, Google decides to turn you off, or you're like, hey, look, I'm high in the search engines. And then Google does a little shakeup in their algorithm, and next thing you know, you're not on the first 100 pages in Google. Like 1 is a horrible place to be in business. You've got to have multiple streams of leads coming in. So that way, when these bad times do happen, it's like, okay, great. You know what? Business is slowing up, but I've got all these other places of business coming in, and that's what you want to be at.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you can, by all means, bypass. And I'm a firm believer I'm the one that's in charge of my economy.
Right.
It doesn't matter because I actually, this is kind of crazy. In 2008, when everything hit the fan, I started the painting business over again.
Right.
And everyone goes, well, isn't that kind of crazy? And I'm going, why is it crazy? I said, I know how to market. At that point in time, I knew how to market. If I could get people to call me to buy their house, I can get people to call me to paint their house.
Right.
So that was not, and then again, I'm the one that's in control of my economy. It's not the economy, it's my economy. Did I have to work harder? Yeah, but I knew that going in, so that's fine. So these are just some of the things that you can do to I'm not going to say avoid a recession, but to make it less of an impact on your businesses. 1, don't spend any more money than you absolutely need to. Stay out of debt, but in order to keep your business going, keep in touch with your clients. Use the monthly newsletter. Every time that you get a referral from someone, send in a thank you card or with a Starbucks card or something.
Right.
You want to build relationships because the relationships are the things that keep your business going when all else fails.
And if you're out there running a business where it's like, and we talked about this on several episodes ago, where your customer service really sucks and like how you're treating people is really bad, then when the recession does hit your business, you're going to be crushed. But that's why it's so important that you are concerned about the customer experience and how did things work out for them? Are they happy with it? Because those are the ones who'll come back to you because, they're like, hey, I still need this done, or I want some more work done, or, my friend's thinking about having this done and I want to refer them. I mean, you can't just be like, hey, look, I got some money here, from this guy and I'm gone. I'm out. And I don't really care anymore about them. You got to care about your clients. You got to actually care about, how did they take everything? Was it what they expected? And it's genuinely, in marketing, the way I describe it to people is I go, you have to care about your clients more than you care about your business, meaning the money that you're going to make from servicing them.
Right.
And it's a tough mindset, I think, for people to get their head around. But once you do, when you genuinely care about your clients, when you genuinely care, people notice. They notice that you care.
Well, I think you get to that mindset when you stop chasing money.
Yeah, true.
Because you want, you got into business to make money, which we all need to, and you need to make a profit. Let me say it again. You need to make a profit. And because a lot of guys are afraid to charge what they, need to charge. And because It's funny, I just ask guys, well, what do you charge an hour? I don't do it by the hour. I said, yes, you do. Well,
Right. Right.
Everyone figured, I said, I even figured up by the hour, what is it going to take me? And basically, and I go from there, but I got some sort of basis. And I said, whatever it is, add 10%, because it's probably still not enough.
Right.
And they'll go, what? And go after and stop and go after the customers that are that you enjoy doing business with. Everyone's got a group of customers that they enjoy doing business with. Find out what do they own? What's the house that they live in? What type of house? What does it cost? What do they do for a living? These are the types of people that you want to do business with. And I'll guarantee the people that you enjoy doing business with are the people who are business owners themselves, or doctors, or maybe lawyers. I've never had a good thing with lawyers, but doctors and other business people that they have the money, but they don't have the time, and they're willing to spend the money as long as the value's there. And the coolest thing about doing business with people you like to do business with is that they refer like-minded people.
Right. Right. Because that's who they hang out with. That's who they know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you have you start off your business, and I've talked to a lot of guys about this. They start off their business and they give discounts right off the bat. Well, I need the business. I need money. I said, well, that's fine. Do that. But in 2 years, you're going to be fed up with that type of client, and you're going to have to change your whole customer base.
Right.
So might as well just bite the bullet now, wait a little longer for a job, get the money you need, and then, because like-minded people that complain about the service you gave them are the ones that you give a discount always complain. Well, they're going to refer like-minded people. Everyone refers like-minded people.
Right.
So be picky and choosy. I was with a guy the other day, and it was kind of funny. It was a guy from church, and he runs a does moving. Oh, that's hard work, man. So he said, I finally, his son is starting to work with him and take over the business aspect. And I said, he's doing stuff that I wanted to do 25 years ago. I said, yeah, but you've been working like a dog for 25 years. Who's got time? He goes, I know. But I told him what you told me. I said, what did I tell you? He goes, don't chase the pennies, chase the dollars.
Right.
He said, because like-minded people refer like-minded people. He said, I've got a real estate agent in Tampa. When she refers me, I know that price is never going to be an object, never going to be a problem. I go and I give them a fair price, but I also know that they're buying quality. They're buying the value. They're not buying me, or they're not buying the price. They're buying the value.
Right.
And that's the kind of customer that you want to get. And that will take you through any recession.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I think, so important what you just hit on of, the guy was still fair in his pricing, but I bet you anything, he's also Johnny on the spot with those clients.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And doesn't, because think about it. First of all, in real estate, I can tell you from working with literally thousands of real estate agents, once they find a good vendor, they don't want to give that person up because they want to earn the commission, right? They from doing their transaction. So they don't want their client to have any problems at all because it's a reflection on them. And the problem with the contracting industry is that there are so many bad actors. There are so many bad apples out there. And so the average person has to deal with that, and they don't know who to trust. And that's why when they find someone who they can trust, it's like, oh, wow, you know what? Here's a good person. Finally, someone who we can trust. And it's kind of like us right now. My wife and I are like, okay, we need to have our bathroom redone. Who do we know? And the first thing, of course, we go to is who do we know that's recently had work done on their home that had a good experience? Because who else do you trust? Right?
Right.
You gotta go with somebody who has had a good experience with someone. There's too many bad actors out there. And so your reputation and how you treat people and the service and work that you do, it's so important. It's not an afterthought. It is the main thought. And it's also what's going to give you the edge over everyone else.
Right. Yeah. And the nice part about, going through a recession, and we say, what's good about a recession? There's a lot of good things about it.
Yep.
I mean, that's the perfect time. I mean, if you're doing, the newsletter, if you're doing thank you cards and stuff like that, if you're keeping in touch with your clients on a regular basis so they know who you are, they don't forget about you, now is the time during a recession to introduce a new product or a new service, because you've got a great customer base to add something to it.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my partners, he runs what's called the Auto Detailing Podcast. It's for our auto detailers we work with. And he started that in the height of the Great Recession, like 2008. He, decides I'm going to go into business for myself. I'm going to be an auto detailer. He'd never done it before. He buys a trailer and a setup, whatever that was. I remember he said it cost him $5,000, and the next month he made $5,500, and so he was in the black. And I don't think he's ever been down below $8,000 in a month ever. And
that's a lot of cars.
It is. It's a really hard job, man, and that's why he doesn't want to do it anymore. It's so labor intensive, right? But it's funny because we talk about what's going to happen if a recession happens. He's like, you know what? If ever there was something someone's going to drop, it's getting their car detailed. Like that's just the thing everyone drops. I don't need to have my car detailed. And he started his business during the Great Recession with the one thing that everyone drops. And he still was successful at it. So people are out there, they still do things, but you got to be ready for it. You got to be ready with, the whole, what's your system for getting referrals? Do you have your consumer guides done? All of that stuff, all the stuff that you and I talk about. Have the pre-recorded message, all of it.
Another good thing to really start now before a recession is a maintenance program. No matter who you are, like I run one for homeowners, and we take care of everything. We charge them by the year, and minimum is $1,000 a year. So we just go in and we take care of the pressure cleaning and all that stuff. We wash the windows once a year, and we do minor touch-ups and stuff like that. And invariably, it comes out to more than that. So I always send them a card, say, hey, this is your time that we're coming, and here's a Starbucks card for $10 while you're at Starbucks. Go figure out if there's anything else you want us to do while you're there. So they always add, last time doesn't count really, but usually it's another 1,000 or more a year, at that one time. So I'm doubling just by sending a card and remind them that I'm coming and give them a Starbucks card. So it doesn't matter.
I love that idea. Because if there was someone right now who I could pay $1,000 a year to, and they would come out and touch up stuff and wash our windows.
Yeah, I would pay. Clean the driveway, the house. Yeah,
I literally it wouldn't even. Yeah. I'd be like, here's $1,000. Just
and that's just for the outside. Now, if you in the wintertime, it'd be perfect for a painting contractor in the wintertime, in the snow time, to do an interior maintenance. We will run through. We'll do minor touch up through the house. We'll fix stuff. We'll caulk the tub. We'll and figure out a program for that. I've got. I was talking to a plumber the other day. He's going to start a plumbing maintenance program with all of his customers. He's going to go in and he's going to figure out and take an inventory of everything they've got for plumbing appliances and stuff like that. And I don't know what he's going to do for a maintenance program, but he said, at least I'll have all their equipment on file. And then when something goes, I'll know what part to get before I even get there. And he's going to charge them for that, to do that. Which is, I think, and the nice part about the maintenance program if you have enough of them, that's income that comes in. You can do it quarterly, you can do it monthly, charge them so much a month, so much a quarter, so much a year. And that will, when you get ready to sell your business, if you ever choose to, that will exponentially increase the price of your business because you've got business going on without having to go after it.
Yeah, big time. Big time. That's
Big
what
time.
everyone's looking for. That means you actually have a real business. Otherwise, you're selling equipment.
Yeah.
And that one of the
customer
things,
base, customer names, but you're not doing anything with those customer names.
and so back to one of the things that you said earlier of when the recession hits, you're going to have a lot of your competition go out of business. And I'd call them up. Hey, Bill, I know you're leaving the business. I'd like to buy your customer list. I'll give you $100 for it. Give me your customer list. I mean, we have our detailers do that. Whenever they see someone in their neighborhood selling their detailing equipment, go buy their customer list.
Really?
And then
that's a great idea. I mean, I would even go so far as to, sell me your customer list. I'll contact them any business we do the first time. I'll give you 10%.
Yeah, I mean, you can go that high if you want. Sometimes what we'll do is be like, hey, look, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you a pre-written email or a letter or a text message, whatever it needs to be. I want you to send this out to your customer list, and that'll be the bridge over to me as the new person who will take care of them going forward. And I mean, you could either pay them per much or so much per name, or like you just said, give them a percentage of the first piece of business that you do with them, and get introduced to them. Now, I mean, because they're not gonna all do it, and a lot of them, unfortunately, aren't gonna have lists. They're gonna be like, oh, I've done 300 homes, but I've only got like 25 names. All right, fine. Let's work with the 25 you got, because obviously that's the best ones you got. So let's start there. And take advantage of that opportunity that's going to be out there.
Yeah, there's just so much that you can do. It's just being creative and don't panic.
Yeah, because
that's just crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, check the Craigslist, right? If you're a painter, see when someone starts selling off their painting equipment and reach out to them. Hey, I noticed you're selling all your painting equipment. Are you leaving the business, or did you just upgrade? And find out. And if they left the business, see if you can work out a deal with them.
Yeah.
Opportunities are everywhere.
They are. You just got to look for them. And we just get so focused on what's in front of us and then what's not coming.
Right. I got all my business from XYZ. Now XYZ is not paying off like it used to. Oh no, I'm going to be out of business.
Yeah. Well, then you got to go get a job.
That's horrible. That's a horrible thought.
It is. I'd rather go on welfare.
Dude, you and I have reached the point where it's like we know we're horrible employees.
Oh, yeah.
Don't put me in a job. You're going to be miserable. I'm going to be miserable. The clients are going to be miserable.
I am unemployable. I know somebody said to my wife the other day, well, when's Dave going to come work for you? I said, I'm not.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yep.
I'll do stuff as long as I don't have to go into the office.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm good. So I think we pretty much killed it.
Yeah.
There's probably some other stuff, but that's enough to get you through.
That's enough just to get started right there. Like even if you're just starting out in the business, you know. In fact, I just remembered, man. We'll have to talk about this next time. We had someone text into us and said, "Hey, you know what? I want to get more business over here. How can I do it? How can I go after these businesses?" And so we'll address that in more detail, I think, on the next episode.
Cool.
But a lot of what I would tell that person is the same stuff that we just talked about right here. What are the creative opportunities that are out there? If you're just getting started in business, dude, hit on Craigslist, right? Find people who are selling the equipment. Maybe they're leaving the business. See if you can, get in with their contacts and stuff like that and go from there. So, yeah, always an opportunity.
So how hungry are you?
Yep.
Yeah. That's it. So
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in this
thanks.
week. And we'll be back next week with another great episode. Until then, we'll talk to you later. Take care, everybody.
Awesome. See ya.